Hey there, my name is Przemek and today I would like to talk about the label Avalanche Organization. First of all, do not confuse it with Justin Broderick's Avalanche Recordings. These are two different labels, and Avalanche Organization has been founded in 2013, but it can be considered as an actual label for like 2 years or something. Before that was kind of Lithuanian collective promoting underground post-industrial music, organizing live shows and events. And today the people behind this organization reside in Denmark, as far as I know. And out of the 5 works they have released so far, I will tell you about 4 of them. And first one is Asianova, Burns Alive. This one. If you've seen the video from a few weeks ago about my favorite albums of 2023, well, this one was the winner. Now, when I think of it, I may have said Avalanche Recordings while discussing Burns Alive. If I did, well, that was a mistake. It's of course Avalanche Organization. And I also have discussed that album a bit, but if you haven't watched that video, once again I tell you a few words. It's a reissue of hard to find material from 2008 by Discorporeality Recordings, and is, as they say, Burns Alive is the live document of this famous act and one of the most important ambient bands from early 90s. Pure Bliss and Experience, recorded live during Pratsayana tour in 2007. First release appeared in 2008 as CDR on Discorporeality Recordings. This is how it looks like. The cover photo found in Harvard University archives shows some kind of ritual dance in, well, Asia, I suppose, or maybe it's Africa. Anyway, it reflects the atmosphere of the album, even though it's not entirely rhythm based. I mean, yes, rhythmic parts appear several times, but most of the music is based on drones and dreamlike soundscapes. And although you could describe this album as ritual ambient, at least to some extent, it's not like a musical recording of any particular ritual, but more like a distant memory of a ritual you once participated in, or maybe you just dreamed it. And this is how it looks inside. The credits, the CD. There's also a kind of visiting card from the label, of course, with the number of your copy. As I said in my top 2023 video, Asianova is a trio of Bonnie McNairn, Jim Wilson. These two you may also know from Voice of I project, and the third member of the group is Ur Thrall, and their way of performing ambient is very American. I don't think they do it like that in Europe. Because of the omnipresent kind of whining guitar or flute sound, it may recall a certain Robert Rich works, but at the end of the day it must be said that Asianova music has its own distinctive character. As far as I know, there are plans for further reissues of hard to find albums by this collective, and well, I must say I'm extremely happy about it. Next we got a cassette by the project called Terralienus, and the title is As the Red Giant Passes. The The project comes from Lithuania, and the person behind it is Saulius Bielskis. On Discogs there is only one Terralienus album, this one, and the three-way split with Surdur and Cigar Overseas. But on this, on his Bandcamp, you'll find 5 more albums, and the artist himself writes about this one like this. 10 years have passed since the last drone journey through cosmos with Terralienus. As the red giant passes, emerges as a new unsegmented chapter floating through the red light of a dying star, towards the heart of Nova. Mournful but not sorrowful, for the death in the realm of the universe is the new beginning. It's one track, the same on both sides of the cassette, 38 minutes long, and hell, this one is a fine piece of cosmic drone dark ambient. This is how it looks like. Tape. Inside again with this card with the copy number. Aesthetic, but aesthetic, I would say. Just like the music. No fireworks, just long, slowly morphing multi-layered atmospheric drones. This is the kind of ambient which, if I wouldn't know, I would say is whether cosmic or glacial, because both forms well, have something in common. Isolationist feeling, asceticism of means of expression, feeling of solitude and infinite space, just like space, I mean cosmos, or vast frozen land. There's no story here, no specific concept, no changes of moods or tempos. It's like an oral reflection of watching the night sky, or if you want some kind of human factor, imagine a huge spaceship slowly traveling through space in search of a planet suitable for life. The crew is hibernated, all tasks and processes are performed automatically, and nothing will disturb this journey. But at the same time, it is completely unknown what happens next. Whether we will actually find such a planet, or whether we will drift in space for decades and centuries. When I listen to it, I think of cosmic dark ambient of the likes like Visions or Gustav Hildebrand, mixed with atmospheric drone masters from Japan like Hakobune or Silent Wave. The only thing I don't like is that it ends like abruptly, like cut with scissors. You know, when I listened to it for the first time in half-sleep state, my mind was drifting somewhere, and suddenly, snap, it ends. Sudden awakening and return to the real world. But okay, in the end, I need to say this, it fits really well my taste. This guy is droning exactly how I like it. Okay, another album released by Avalanche that is definitely worth attention is EUS. Sol Levit on CD this time. Okay, EUS is a one-man project from Costa Rica. Even though I know some artists from Latin America, I still have the impression that this is a completely undiscovered land for me in the context of electronic or electroacoustic music. Still a lot of exploration ahead of me. But I knew EUS. I had the opportunity to review some music from this project in the past at Santa Sangre. Sol Levit is also a reissue of material self-released on CDR in 2013. The cover, as you can see, well, it's not very spectacular. I have no idea what it represents. The design inside is is also quite simple. However, musically it is an excellent thing. I mentioned it briefly in the video about my favorite albums from 2023 as well. And one thing needs to be said, and this is mentioned on the label's Bandcamp. Jose Acuna, Jose Acuna is the guy behind EUS. Jose's great-grandfather, Alcides Prado Quesada, was an influential composer in the 1920s. Jose received permission from his grandmother to borrow loops from his recordings, which he has incorporated throughout the album. I checked the internet, and according to Wikipedia, his great-grandfather was indeed a very known composer in Costa Rica, so EUS also has some kind of historical background. I think this music can be called ambient because it is composed of spectacular spatial soundscapes, the vast majority of which are melodic and atmospheric, based on loops of string instruments, but appropriately processed. Of course, incorporating the sounds of classical instruments, either in the form of samples from classic compositions or generally recorded for a given album, is nothing new. Stars of the Lead, William Basinski, Rapun, these are the first examples that quickly come to my mind. But EUS handles this form and concept very efficiently, sometimes even thrillingly. Somewhere in all this I hear echoes of some albums from the artists from the Novali label. This label kind of balances between on the border between ambient and modern classical. And Jose Acuna has a great sense of melody. It's kind of ambient that catches the ear, even if you listen to this album for the first time. Like the tracks Qualia and Al Mismo Lugar, I would say these are ambient bangers, really. And this music on this album is full of warmth, emotional, but without pathos. Sometimes the atmosphere and the density of the sound reminds me of guitar ambient, like Disquiet Army project, although I think EUS music is more varied in terms of sounds used. But to be clear, of course, Disquiet Army is a fantastic project as well. But anyway, Sol Levit by EUS, very good one. And the last one is EUS again, this time on tape. And again, it's a reissue of an old material from 2011, originally self-released in a digital form and on CDR in a very few copies. The title is Vhinto No Dresce. I tried to figure what that title means and to what language is that, but unfortunately both Google Translate and Deeply have failed, so I have no idea what that means. Anyway, 6 tracks, around 40 minutes of music, the same on both sides of the cassette, which is again in this cardboard kind of. This is the tape. There's nothing inside. Again, just this card with your with the number of your copy. And in this case, it seems to me that these are early recordings of the project. The compositions are more blurred. There is more reverb and emphasis on the atmosphere than on specific structures. The sound itself is filled with lo-fi spirit, but there is some charm in it. It's a thick, dreamlike fog from which sometimes, I mean rarely, some specific shapes emerge, and this cassette is good for contemplation because it is very atmospheric and non-invasive. There's also a certain element of darkness lurking here. Of all the EUS materials I have heard so far, this one is probably the closest to the typically understood dark ambient. Sometimes when I listen to Vhinto No Dresce, I remember some of Trome earlier works, or even their even earlier incarnation, Mare or Tree. Dense, blurry soundscapes and some echoes of guitar melodies that can make a greater impression and affect emotions more than if they would be played cleanly and transparently. So if you're looking for emotions in music, but not those given on a silver plate, this album also seems to be a good proposition for you. The cassette is limited to 50 copies only, so hurry up. Okay, Avalanche Organization, a very interesting label worth keeping an eye on. I am curious how they will develop and in what direction they will go in the future. Will they focus on premiere releases, or will they focus more on reissues or of older rare albums? I don't know, but either way I will follow them, because it seems that the owners of Avalanche have a good taste when it comes to ambient experimental music. Okay, thanks for watching and see you soon.